Go on. So been up since 4 this morning. Athena and I went to the beach, went to the not beach, we went to the gym. We're trying to do that every single day, at least throughout the week. It's been amazing. And this morning, I was listening to the book written by Derek Gaunt. It's a book. The name of the book is Ego, Authority, Failure. And this is not a reproduction of the book. I just want to talk about some things that came to mind that I wrote down, and I want to expand on those a little bit. So, Wagwan multi-fam enthusiast, I'm Hutch, right? If you're in real estate, it's Hutch, the marine investor. And today live stream we're going to talk into a topic that is critical for leaders, especially in a structured, top-down environment like corporate America or in a military setting. And this is going to be a little bit about the book as well too, right? The ego, authority, and failure. So I want to make it clear that this is not a reproduction. This is just talking about some things that I've learned and some things that I want to expand on. So let's start with a quick quote from the book that really stood out to me. It said that empathy is not about agreement; it is about understanding. This idea really drives home what empathy is at its core, and that's let's break it down today. That's what I'm going to break it down today. So, what is empathy in leadership? So, first, let's define empathy. What is it really, right? We often hear this thing, empathy, sympathy, and all that good stuff, right? So, in leadership, empathy is not about being soft or compromising your authority. It's about actively trying to understand emotional perspective and concerns of those that we are entrusted to lead. So this builds a trust within our communication whenever we can demonstrate empathy. Now, empathy is often confused as sympathy. Sympathy means you feel sorry for someone, right? But empathy is a much deeper connection. It's about walking in their shoes, understanding where they're coming from, and as a leader, it can be a game changer whenever you choose to develop or demonstrate empathy, right? Um, so you can still maintain your authority, but through empathy, you connect with people in a way that makes them want to follow you, or let's not say follow you. They want to lead with you, right? Because we are all leaders at a whole different levels, right? Different levels. So let's look at empathy in that top-down leadership structure. Now, how does empathy works in a top-down leadership structure like the military or corporate world? In these systems, leaders give orders, right? And these orders are expected to be followed. However, that doesn't mean that there's no room for empathy. Empathy in these settings means understanding the emotional and mental state of your team. Understand, are they stressed out? Are they really stressed out? Are they overwhelmed? A leader who can tap into the awareness, in that kind of awareness, can prevent burnout. We like to keep the fire burning in our people, right? So they don't burn out. So keep them lit, keep them on fire, keep them enthusiastic about the mission, about what they're doing and their contribution as well, right? So we don't want to be burned out, and we want to maintain performance level. Now, for example, if your team is under extreme pressure, acknowledging and giving them some room to breathe can lead to better long-term results. So people don't just, they don't just want to be told what to do. They want to feel heard and understood, even in a hierarchical system. Now, so let's look at some practical application of empathy for leaders. So how do you actually use empathy as a leader? Let's break it down for in practical strategy, and in here I'm gonna cover three, right? So first, listening actively. This is crucial when a team. It's crucial um, when a team member can come to you with concern, and you don't just hear them, you actually listen to them. Let them feel understood. For example, say say one of your team member is struggling with a task, instead of simple just directing them to push through, right? Take time to hear what's blocking and offer solution. Let me change it. You don't always offer solution. Let's consider working through some of those roadblocks together, right? I like to say we lead together. And what this there's a lot of value whenever a team collectively come up with a solution to a problem together. There's a significantly more buy-in that I've observed over the years. So instead of just giving them a solution, right, you can ask some probing question. A really good literature for that is the book called The 1 Minute Manager, where you help them to solve the problem, where you ask enough questions to where they can solve their own problem by understanding what is it they're trying to fix, and having them come up with the solution. Second, recognizing the emotional states of your team. If you notice morale is low, don't ignore it. Acknowledge the situation and work with them to resolve it. It could it could be something simple as helping them to understand the why in what they're doing. Sometimes we need to re-clarify the mission, and how they play into the long-term strategic goals of the organization, whether it be the military or corporate America, right? And number three, empathy. Empathy is a powerful tool for conflict resolution. When there's tension in the team, instead of stepping in and imposing solution right away, start by understanding both sides, right? Because people are going to come to people to solve the problems, right? They come to people who know they can solve the problem, or in some cases, some they just need for you to listen. You know what I mean? And when with empathic listening, that helps you to understand both sides, and maybe ask the probing questions or ask the clarifying questions to get people to solve their own problems. All right. So four, how do you balance between empathy and authority? Some people think that empathy might make them look weak as a leader, but it's the exact opposite. It's about balancing empathy with authority. You can still make tough decisions, but you show that you care about the people that you are entrusted to lead. Now, take this for example. If someone is underperforming, a leader without empathy might just discipline them and just move on to the next thing, right? However, an empathic leader would take time to understand why they're underperforming. Maybe stress. Maybe they got something going on in their personal life that is really distracting them from the performing at the highest level that that they can perform in. So you offer. Maybe you're in a position to offer solution, and if you do that and listen with empathic listening, you improve their performance, and while showing that you generally care about their well-being. So authority is necessary. However, empathy is what makes you as a leader, um, and your people, and also people want to lead with you or continue to be a part of your organization. Now, empathy in action, like the real world experience. Like, look into this. Now, let's bring it down to some real world example of how empathy in leadership can work. Example one, say for example, in a corporate setting, imagine the CEO announce a restructuring. Instead of just pushing through, they take the time to listen to employees' concern, understand their fears, and address them directly by showing empathy. The CEO builds trust, which in turn can lead to a higher retention and morale during transition. Because the in leadership, we all have a job, right? And we bring a certain level of experience to the table. And it's really important that the people that we're entrusted to lead understand and value that we're bringing. So, example number two, in the high stake environment, take for example the military, in military units, a high pressure corporate team, right? Pretty much, a leader might notice a team is worn down from constant demand. Empathic leader could step in, acknowledge the stress, and provide support and relief. And sometimes we push because we want to be ready whenever a nation is least prepared, right? However, it's important that we pay attention to our people, because even in the military, we are in the people business. So it's not only, you know being an empathic leader. It doesn't only improve performance, but it shows the team that their well-being matters to you, and they will typically, go above and beyond, to ensure that the mission is accomplished. Now now outcome of empathic leader. Finally, um, what are the results of using empathic leadership? So when you show empathy, it doesn't just improve communication, it builds loyalty. And your team, will be more willing to do extra or go the extra mile, because they know that you're not just focused on the mission, you are also focused on their well-being. So empathic leader creates a better cohesion, and a stronger team dynamic. Instead of people just following orders, they are committed to the mission because they know that their leader value them as individual. So in the long run, it makes your team more effective. No, whether it's in the business or in a structured environment, like, of course, the one that I'm in, right? So in conclusion, wrapping this all up, to wrap this all up, empathy is is a critical tool for leaders, and it doesn't take away from your authority. It enhance it by building trust and respect. So leaders who can integrate empathy into their approach are the ones who will succeed, especially in a high performing environment. So I want to leave you with this. Empathy is not about losing control or being soft. It's about understanding, connecting, and leading your people in a way that inspire them to be and become better. So take a moment to reflect on, how you're leading your team, and link, and you know and really think about where you could add a little more empathy into your leadership style, and so we can reap the effect of that. So until next time, I'm Hutch, and be an empathic, also maintain your authority as a leader. Until next time, out.